Hello, and welcome to a special two-part episode of History Laid Bare. Over the next two episodes, we're going to be taking a bit of a deep dive into the activities of two particular soldiers from Finland during a conflict known as the Winter War. So sit back, relax, and enjoy part one, Aimo Koivunen's story.
Hello.
Hello.
It's been a while.
I know.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm pretty good. Welcome to episode 4 of this podcast.
It's also a part one.
It is a part 1.
Yes.
It's our first part 1.
I know.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It really is.
I know.
Absolutely.
I sound really sarcastic there, but I'm trying not to be.
His voice says, but his face says different.
I know. I am so excited about this.
It is going to be a good one. This is interesting, guy. What's this fellow we're going to be talking about?
Oh yeah, definitely interesting. And part 2 is going to be
even better.
Oh, the stuff we got lined up for part 2.
We're saving the best for last, if you like.
Oh, well, yeah.
Last of the parts.
But
yeah,
I can care.
Absolutely. Okay, so as you heard in the intro, we're going to be talking about the Winter War in this episode. The start of the Winter War, how it kicked off.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk. Start. Yeah. And then we're going to talk about one of the standout Finnish soldiers, Aimo Koivunen.
I always pronounce his second name wrong, I think.
How do you pronounce it?
Koivunen.
Koivunen? I mean,
I think that's how you pronounce it. Aimo Koivunen.
Aimo Koivunen. It could. I mean, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
I'm assuming we are, so hopefully.
I mean, yes. I tend to pronounce this stuff phonetically, so I pronounce it how I see it.
Yeah, and I'm the same. So if I see it written in a certain way, I'm going to pronounce it that way.
Yeah. If we are butchering the pronunciation, we are sorry.
Most indubitably.
Yeah, that's a word.
I know. I don't even know where that came from.
No? Been eating dictionaries again.
More like a thesaurus.
Oh, there's another word.
I'm so proud of myself.
Should we pull it back? Before we go too far into the trees, eh?
Yeah, come on. Let's begin. Let's talk about the Winter War.
The Winter War, right? So as far as whenever I think about this Winter War, which I do often, he says,
wow,
that was sarcastic.
I know. I can feel the sarcasm dripping from the words.
You would be forgiven if you're listening to this thinking, what? What Winter War? What? It's a little known conflict within a bigger conflict.
Well, that bigger conflict being the start of World War II.
Yeah. So we're going back to 1939. In
November 30th, to be precise.
Indeed. The Winter War was a conflict between Russia and Finland that lasted from
30th November 1939 to the 13th of March 1940, and it lasted 3 months, 1 week, and 6 days exactly.
Yeah, 6 days exactly. Now,
it was also known as the First Soviet-Finnish War.
First Soviet-Finnish War, yeah, because
which I didn't actually know.
I didn't, to be fair, and I didn't.
The more you know.
The more you know. The First Soviet War would indicate that there's more than one. Soviet-Finnish War would indicate there's more than one, but we're just focusing on this one.
Yeah.
For these episodes, right? So, what actually kicked it off? What was the? What?
Well, how it started. So, from what we've been able to research, let me just check the notes. The Soviets demanded a lot of territory around the Finnish border in return for land elsewhere, claiming security reasons, mainly the protection of Leningrad, now, as we all know, is now known as St. Petersburg. But Leningrad is 20 miles away from the border between Russia and Finland. So, in my personal opinion, I think 20 miles would be more than enough of a buffer zone, or, I use inverted commas here, ladies and gentlemen, a security zone.
You would think, yeah, I would tend to agree. 20 miles is...
It's more than enough land.
It's not exactly a quick walk, is it?
Oh, no, not really.
Yeah. He also, Stalin, who was obviously leading the Soviets at this time.
Oh, yeah.
He was...
less said.
He wanted to build a naval base on a set of islands that Finland had possession of.
Yeah, you mentioned about this before, but it's kind of not in the notes, but it will be pertinent information.
Yeah, and
to go with exactly what we're talking about over these 2 episodes.
Yeah, and Finland and Russia have had a long and storied history anyway, because Finland at one time was part of the Russian Empire.
Yes, they were.
And they had no intentions of being part of the Russian Empire again.
No, they didn't, because they loved their independence too much.
They did. It's a beautiful country. I'd love to visit Finland.
I would really love to visit Finland myself.
Yeah.
You see the pictures of it and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Looks
absolutely stunning.
And from what I've heard, the Finnish people are extremely welcoming and very nice.
I've heard the same. I have absolutely heard the same. Also, a brave people going by these two chaps we're talking about in these episodes.
Oh, most definitely. So,
okay, so let's have a little chat about numbers. Now, okay, we know numbers aren't interesting, but these numbers might interest you a little bit.
They might actually pick your interest and make you want to look into this a little bit more yourself.
Okay, so shall I do the Soviet numbers and you do the Finnish numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So when the Soviets invaded Finland, they invaded with a force of 425,000 to 760,000 troops versus Finland's
300,000 to 340,000 troops.
Russia brought with them 3,880 aircraft as opposed to Finland's
114 aircraft.
And rolling down the road, Russia found themselves in 2,514 to 6,541 tanks, and Finland had
32 tanks total.
Just what? Give us that one more time.
32. 3, 2. No more, no less.
Okay.
Now,
bit of a David and Goliath situation, eh?
It really is. You look at them numbers and you think to yourself, well, the Soviets essentially should have steamrolled the Finnish defences.
They really should, but they didn't.
No.
The Finns dug in and they were not giving up.
No, they didn't go down without a fight.
Absolutely not.
Now, for the losses between both sides, the Finnish forces suffered 70,000 losses, as opposed to the Soviets.
321,000 to 381,000.
Now, don't get me wrong in saying this. That screams to me that the Russian forces, infantry especially, were being forced into mass charges, like the type that you'd see during the First World War.
Maybe. During the research, I did come across quotes and interviews that from Russian soldiers that clearly stated that they didn't believe that their commanders knew what the heck they were doing.
Oh no, I've seen stuff like that myself.
Also,
many different sources.
Yeah, the Russian army didn't bother with snow camo or any kind of protection from the snow.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Wait. Hang on a minute. You're talking about a country that has a diverse...
They went in to Finland with their green uniforms and red stripes.
Okay, so you're talking about a country that has a diverse ecology, right? Temperate, arid, whatever, right through to Arctic conditions, as anyone around the world knows. And you're invading Finland.
Green uniforms.
In green uniforms.
With the red stripes.
With the red stripes. Now.
Yeah.
Call me an idiot for saying this, but if that was me, I'd be rocking up in winter camouflage.
You would at least have a white coat.
Oh, without a doubt.
No, they didn't. The grey coats, green tunics and pants with all the red emblems of their uniform at the time, with the red collars and the red flashes and everything else.
Wow.
Indeed, yep. Yep. Okay, so...
Now it's making me wonder why so many of them got cut down.
The Finns managed to hold off Russian advances.
No, don't worry, I understood what you said.
The Finns managed to hold off the Russians for a good 2 months. Now, that's good going.
Yeah, but they inflicted heavy casualties.
Mega casualties.
In minus 43 degrees Celsius.
They just weren't giving in.
No, they weren't giving in. They dug in and they fought for their land.
Yeah.
Like any soldier would.
Any proud nation, innit?
Any proud nation.
Yeah. But then the Soviets obviously stepped back and thought, oh, hang on, no, this isn't working. Let's have a little think. Let's try and reevaluate this now. And they came in with they went back, reorganised themselves, renewed their tactics, and the tide began to turn.
Oh, they broke through in the February.
They did. They steamrolled them, in fact.
Yeah. But at this point, in steps our star of the episode.
Star of the show. Mr. Aimo Koivunen.
He is the star of the show. So, Mr. Koivunen was born in Alastro, Finland in October 1917. Now, I do apologise if I butchered the pronunciation of that name. So, I am very sorry. There was no information about him until March the 18th, 1944.
When Aimo was on a ski patrol with his unit. Yes, they did use skis. It was the easiest way to get around.
Well, that's understandable considering the amount of snow that's up there.
Of course.
Yay. But not in that sense.
No, this is more skiing for your life.
Oh, yeah. Skiing for your life or fleeing for your life?
I'm going to be busy with that cut button, aren't I?
Yeah, probably. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It just popped in there.
So, yeah, on the 18th of March, 1944, old Aimo was up with his mates, having a bit of a ski patrol, seeing what was going on, keeping an eye on things, looking for Russian forces, but the Russian forces found them.
Right. After a brief firefight, the Finns escaped into the forest and the Soviets gave chase. Now, Koivunen remembers he had the whole unit's supply of Pervitin.
Pervitin, I think it is. Pervitin.
Sorry, it's methamphetamines.
Yeah.
And he had them in his pocket, and he supposedly, we're saying here, accidentally took the whole unit's supply. Now, whether he was trying to get one out, and his mittens got in the way, or his gloves or whatever he had on to keep his hands warm got in the way, or he did it on purpose, he took 30 times the recommended dose of methamphetamines.
Wait, recommended dose of methamphetamine? No.
Yeah, I'd say the recommended dose of, if I can pronounce it properly, Pervitin.
Pervitin.
Yay, there we go, Pervitin.
Happy days.
It is a variant of methamphetamine, and it was given to soldiers in Europe to keep them alert and ready to fight. In fact, the Germans were now well known for handing it out to sentries and groups on guard patrol.
Yeah.
Guard duty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They also carried a lot of it during the lightning raids and blitzkrieg and everything else.
It amped
it did.
the soldiers and everything like that.
In fact, there's a lot of people who think that this methamphetamine Pervitin was responsible for the blitzkrieg because it turned soldiers into just zombies who didn't need to sleep, I don't know if they needed to eat, but they certainly didn't need to sleep, and they just kept going.
See, that would make a lot of sense with how fast that they advanced, but we're kind of getting away from who we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, we're heading into the trees again. But we just wanted to make the point that soldiers in Europe during the Second World War were given methamphetamines to keep them awake.
To keep them awake and keep them alert, and obviously to, by the looks of it, keep them going and try to keep them alive as long as possible to, I don't know, maybe stay in the fight.
Yeah. So, old Aimo, he's in the woods. He's had a bit of a dust up with the Russians. He's took these tablets. Now it starts to get a little bit strange in a minute. He's still with his unit at this point. They're running through the woods. They're trying to get away from the Russians. He took all these methamphetamines, and now he's trying to G his unit up. He's trying to push them on, speed things up. Next thing we know,
Aimo loses consciousness.
Unconscious, out like a light.
Drops. Completely. He's gone.
Now it gets weird.
Right. Aimo claims to remember waking up some 100 kilometres, so 100 kilometres is 60 miles.
It's about 60, 62 miles, something like that.
Well, you'd know better than me because you've been over to Germany, haven't you? So
yeah, I'd say it's about 60, 62 miles.
All right, okay. Now, he claims to remember, as I said, waking up some 60 to 62 miles away from where he passed out with no ammunition, no food, and no unit. He was completely on his own.
Now, at this point, he doesn't know where he is. He's got no idea how he's got there or what's happened to the rest of his men. So what does he do? He jumps himself into a ditch and he just tries to stay alive. So he begins to eat pine cones, anything he can get. I'm sure there was insects in there as well.
Well, yeah, if you need something to eat, it's
protein, isn't it?
It's protein. Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a very good source of protein.
Yeah. He also managed to catch a Siberian jay, which he killed and ate raw.
Bear in mind, he caught this with his bare hands.
With bare hands, yeah.
Siberian jay with his bare hands.
I think that it's at this point that I'm giving up. I don't think I could do that.
I don't think I could myself, actually.
No. It's at this point I'm saying, nope, that's it. I'm done. I'm staying here.
Game over.
Yep.
But he also stepped on a landmine and came within half a mile of a Soviet outpost while he was wandering in the wilderness.
See, now I read conflicting reports on this. Some say some of the reports say everyone agrees he stepped on a landmine.
Oh yeah, from
everything I've read says he stepped on a landmine. But there's disagreements on the distance because some reports say he was half a mile away. Others say he was close enough to a Russian outpost that he set fire to it.
See, I've not actually come across that.
This is what I've read. He was close enough to a Russian outpost, stood on the landmine, that the parts of the Russian outpost caught fire.
Well,
I'm just giving both sides.
I'll have to have a look into that myself to see. Or actually, send me the.
I will.
Send me the link
if I can find it again.
I've got it open on the computer.
No, I do so much research for this show. You wouldn't believe.
More research.
Bits of paper everywhere. Yeah, so there is those two stories about what happened. But when he was found, this is the amazing part to me.
Oh yeah, this is what's shocked me.
Yeah.
The distance.
Now, I want to get these numbers right, so I am going to look at the paper. You ready? When he was found, over a week later, at this point, it was reckoned that he travelled some 400 kilometres, 250 miles away from where he originally passed out with his unit. Now, that is a long way on foot in the snow.
Oh yeah. It makes me wonder, did he still have his skis, or did he make makeshift snowshoes, or makeshift set of skis just to help him along and
no idea
get to where he needed to go? Or did he have any idea where he was going? He was hopped up on that much meth.
I'll be honest, I don't think he knew. I don't think he had a clue, and he had no memory of where he'd been up until this point.
No. Well, I have read that, and I completely believe that he had no memory because.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things must have started coming back to him as he recovered.
Yeah.
Because he did survive this ordeal.
Yeah, but I'd like to point out one thing.
Go on.
When he was picked up, his heart rate was around 200 beats per minute, and he weighed 45 kilos, which roughly translates to about 6.5 stone. So,
which isn't a lot for a grown man, is it?
No, he would have been extremely skinny and gaunt.
Yeah, emaciated, malnourished.
Yeah, completely malnourished and emaciated. He would probably would have been looking at a skeleton walking along the road.
Yeah, maybe.
Would have been not a very pretty sight.
No.
But to be fair, he did walk 250 miles from where he originally
passed out.
Yeah. And get a word then.
Okay, so after the war, he's back into obscurity.
Yeah,
and just lived his life and got on with it.
He completely drifted back into obscurity, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I've done my part. So
yeah, done me bit now.
Done me bit. The war's over for me. I'm going to go back to doing whatever I was doing before I became, my country called me up to fight.
That's it. And Aimo, I really hope I've been pronouncing his name right. He deserves to have his name pronounced right.
He does deserve to have his name pronounced right. And I do hope we have pronounced his name right. I hope I pronounced where he was born in Finland correctly.
Yeah.
I really do.
So I'm sticking with Aimo. Okay. So Aimo, he passed away peacefully on the 12th of August 1989 at age 71.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, but after that, as we said, he just faded back into the background and just lived his life. So there you go. That was the story of Aimo Koivunen.
At the start of the Winter War.
And the start of the Winter War. But Aimo Koivunen, the guy who ran, walked, crawled,
however, Siberian jay and pine cones.
Stood on a landmine and possibly set fire to a Russian base.
Possibly. It's feasible, maybe?
Well, it's what I read. I can't confirm or deny. It's just what I read.
There's a lot of weird stories from World War II, isn't there?
Absolutely. But Aimo managed to survive, and I think what he did, whether you agree with the amphetamines or not, it was what they were given. It was the time. It was the way it was.
Standard procedure, so to speak.
Yeah, it was of its time.
Yeah.
And I think he's a lucky man, and I think he did well to make it.
Oh yeah, he's a very lucky man considering the weight that he was when he was found. He's very lucky to survive the entire ordeal.
Absolutely. And in the next episode, we're going to be bringing the conclusion of the Winter War and possibly a little bit of the aftermath as well. What happened? You know, is it the Ribbentrop Treaty?
I think it is the Ribbentrop Treaty. Yes.
I think it might be.
I'll give that a look actually.
Yeah, we'll confirm all facts before we record, as always. And we're going to be talking about Simon O'Hare, also known as the White Death.
The most prolific sniper in World War II.
I'm excited for this one.
Oh, I'm excited for this one because I know a little bit about Aimo already.
Same.
And he's...
Let's save it for the episode. We won't give too much away.
No, I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be a good one.
It is. And whether you're a history buff or whether you're into this kind of thing or not, you can't fail to be impressed by this guy.
Oh, no. No, definitely not. You cannot fail to be impressed by what this man achieved.
Yeah.
And how he achieved it as well.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't know one thing that you told me. I always thought it was in a specific way, if you catch me meaning.
Yeah.
And that actually blew my mind a little bit.
Well, we're going to be saving that for part 2 of our Winter War double episode. I've been Dave Sheep-Hanneman.
And I've been Martin Almond.
If you're still here, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.